When Guy discovers that he is just a character in an interactive game, he decides to abandon the boring routine he has been programmed for and take control of his life. Today we will recap the story of the 2021 movie, Free Guy. In Free City, the men and women with glasses are superpowered. They don't care about anyone and rule the city. These guys can do anything they want. They have multiple missions, stylish hair, stylish clothes, and the laws don't apply to them. Guy is just another resident of Free City. Despite living in a place where hundreds of crimes occur every minute, he loves his city. The bank teller has a goldfish as a pet, and every day his routine is exactly the same. Guy gets up in the morning, says good morning to his fish, and gets dressed for work. Before leaving home, the man eats his cereal while watching the news. Minutes later, he walks to the coffee shop, where he orders the same drink every day, medium coffee with milk and sugar. On his way to work, he meets up with his best friend, Buddy, and they both witness a robbery scene at Joe's store, as happens almost every day. Despite witnessing horrible scenes all the time, Guy considers himself a happy man and feels he has everything he needs except one thing. His greatest goal is to find the love of his life, but he believes he will never find the right woman. The friends are talking when two armed criminals break into the bank. Buddy, who is supposed to take care of the security of the place, simply drops his gun and lies down on the floor next to Guy. While waiting for the robbery to come to an end, the friends talk about the ideal woman and Guy reveals his definition of the perfect woman. On the other side of Free City, Molotov Girl is meeting with a guy who claims to have the proof of a crime she is investigating. However, when she finds him, the woman discovers that her spy has no evidence at all, only a map with the information of the hiding place where the incriminating video is hidden. For the entire time they talk, the man disrespects her. So before she leaves, Molotov Girl doesn't hesitate to shoot him. She then walks through the streets toward her next mission and Guy is completely paralyzed to see her. When the woman leaves, he tells Buddy that this is the girl of his dreams and decides to try to talk to her. However, while crossing a train track, Guy ends up being run over and simply disappears. At this point, Millie saves all the updates to her avatar and disconnects from the game. The woman needs to leave, as the coffee shop is about to close. The next morning Guy gets up and goes through his routine again. When he arrives at the coffee shop, Guy orders a cappuccino and everyone around starts staring at him. In that place, people drink average coffee with milk and sugar every day, without exception. Guy wishes he had something different to drink, but realizing he is about to be shot out of a cannon, he changes his mind and says he was only joking. That day, when the robbers show up at the bank, Guy spots the woman of his dreams crossing the street. Buddy remembers that the day before, Guy tried to talk to her and it didn't work out. The security guard claims it is impossible to talk to people who wear glasses, so Guy decides to confront one of the criminals in order to get his glasses stolen. After taking a few blows, he is knocked down, but soon gets up and manages to use the criminal's gun to eliminate him. Now with the accessory in hand, the chances of being able to talk to Molotov Girl increase considerably. However, when he puts on his glasses, something extraordinary happens. Guy can see the city in a totally different way, with signs scattered around every corner. He spots a first aid kit floating by, and when he touches it, his health is completely restored. At this point, Guy manages to recover from his beating at the bank and walks through the city, exploring this new world. The man witnesses an accident in which a boy with a jetpack ends up dying. Then, the blue shirt manages to get all the money that the guy had accumulated. While observing what happened, Keys, a guy who works at Tsunami, the company responsible for creating Free City, tells his friend that a user was eliminated and had his glasses stolen. The most curious thing of all is that the person who eliminated him was a non-playable character, which they call an NPC. Upon hearing this, Mouser believes that a hacker is behind this, but Keys cannot detect him. As a result, they decide to go into the game to interrogate the character. The duo arrive in a police car and begin to lecture Guy for hacking the game's NPCs. Finally, Mouser orders Guy to change his skin, but Guy is at a loss to understand what the pink rabbit means by this. Confused, Guy decides to run away and the duo starts shooting at him. While trying to hide from the shots, Guy discovers a super ability of his new sneakers and is able to jump several meters high. To reach him, Mouser activates a new feature and the whole building starts to move. Blue Shirt needs to keep running, but his sneakers are dead. So he jumps out of the building and tries to reach a wrecking ball. On the way, Guy is unable to hold on and falls. At this time, he accidentally activates a new ability and a bubble appears around his body, preventing the man from being hurt by the fall. While Guy is celebrating the fact that he is still alive, Keys shows up with his police car and runs Guy over. The problem is that although the blue shirt has been eliminated, the number of players online has not changed. This fact has Keys quite puzzled. Years ago, Keys and Millie worked together to create an online game called Life Itself. The idea was that there would be no players and people would just watch as the digital characters interact and evolve. Millie was responsible for putting together the entire artificial intelligence all by herself. Her favorite drink is medium coffee with milk and sugar, and it was inspired by her that Keys created some of the characters in Free City. When he gets home, he finds Millie sitting in an armchair and is startled to see his former partner after so long. She is there to enlist the boys' help in framing her boss, Antoine, who stole the artificial intelligence they created to use in Free City. Millie tells them that she has found a hiding place inside the game, where the evidence of the crime must be hidden. However, to access it, she needs Keys' help. However, the young man does not believe what Millie is saying and thinks his boss is innocent. He then refuses to help her because he doesn't want to risk losing his job for nothing. When Guy wakes up the next morning, he promises that day, everything will be different. Guy takes the only casual shirt from his closet and decides to wear it for the first time. At the end of the day, Millie uses her avatar, Molotov Girl, to try to break into the hiding place where the video is hidden. She looks for a way into that fortress, and suddenly Guy appears behind her. Frightened, the girl knocks him down and starts interrogating him. Just then, the guards manage to detect them. A gunfight breaks out and the couple must hide behind a rock to avoid being shot. Molotov Girl then opens a portal and both are transported to another corner of the city. Guy has never been there and is surprised to discover that the woman has a fine collection of guns and motorcycles. Believing that this guy is just a newcomer to the game, Molotov Girl advises him to level up. To do so, he just needs to rob stores and shoot people on the street. Upon hearing this, Guy is terrified and states that he would never hurt innocent people. So he decides to do the opposite of this and becomes the great superhero of Free City. Guy aims to level up by fighting the villains that terrorize the city. Every time he is eliminated during an operation, the character is restarted and must start all over again. In no time at all, the man manages to level up and becomes news in the real world. People are curious to find out who the player behind the blue shirt is, and even without knowing him, many have become his fans. When he reaches level 102, Guy decides to show up at work. Buddy was worried about his friend and asks where he has been all this time. The blue shirt then tries to explain everything that has happened to him in the last few days. While they are talking, as usual, the robbers break into the bank. Everyone gets down on the floor, but Guy steals the criminal's gun and then takes his glasses. He tries to convince Buddy to wear that accessory, but the security guard prefers not to risk it and to continue living his repetitive and boring life. Suspicious that NPC has come to life through the artificial intelligence created by Millie, Keys decides to help the girl get into the hiding place. He unlocks the door and reports the location of the video. When Molotov Girl manages to get the file, the alarm is activated and the security guards appear. Guy is surrounded and the men are blocking the exit. Then, just when the mission seems to have come to an end, Guy shows up and knocks the guys out with his motorcycle. Molotov Girl tries to retrieve the file, but new security guards show up, and this time they are a heavy hitter. Upon hearing the girl talking to another player, Keys asks who is together with her and states that there is no other player in that place besides those who are trying to eliminate her. After being saved by Molotov Girl, Guy watches as she destroys her enemies. Guy becomes even more enamored as he witnesses the woman's fighting skills. Suddenly, he is attacked and accidentally breaks his opponent's arm. After getting rid of him, the blue shirt takes his motorcycle and escapes through the window pane. While he is driving, Molotov Girl uses 2 Glocks to eliminate the security guards and prevent them from being pursued. When Antoine, the owner of the company, shows up, he orders his team to upgrade the Free City characters to launch Free City 2. His idea is to take advantage of the success of the blue shirt to attract even more users to the game. After they leave the hideout unharmed, Guy takes Molotov Girl to see his personal storeroom, where he keeps all the items he has collected. He tells her that he took the girl's advice and leveled up. This piques the interest of Molotov Girl, who is curious to know how this guy managed to level up so quickly. Confused by the woman's questions, Guy invites her out for ice cream and reveals that his favorite flavor is bubblegum. Coincidentally, bubblegum ice cream is also Millie's favorite, and she is surprised to discover that they have several tastes in common. While they are walking together, Guy reveals that he is in love with the young woman and asks her permission to kiss her. During the kiss, Millie is confused because she is beginning to like someone she doesn't even know the real name of. Meanwhile, Keys checks the codes of the NPCs and discovers that Guy was built from the code he and Millie created. Immediately, he goes to the girl's apartment, and upon hearing the doorbell, Molotov Girl says goodbye to Guy. The programmer opens the door and Keys says that she was right all along. Antoine stole the code they created for the game Life Itself and put it into Free City. But the good news is that the code actually works. Guy is a character who has evolved and now thinks he is real. Upon discovering that the guy who just kissed her is not a player but an algorithm, Millie is disappointed. Keys does not understand why her friend is not celebrating this victory, and then finds out that she is in love with the blue shirt. In that instant, the boy remembers that Free City 2 will soon be released, and when it is, the entire Free City 1 universe will disappear. The only way to stop this from happening is to find the original world that the duo created for the game life itself, because then they will be able to prove that Antoine stole the code. To do this, Millie needs to ask Guy for help. When she meets him again, she tries to explain that the whole city is just a game. Molotov Girl tells him that Guy doesn't exist in the real world, which is why he never made it out of Free City. Upon hearing this, Blue Shirt becomes frustrated and leaves. He runs to the beach and throws a stone into the ocean, then discovers that even the sea is not real in that place. In desperation, he goes screaming through the streets in an attempt to warn people that the whole world is fake. At that moment, Guy is hit by 2 cars at the same time. When he recovers from the accident, he goes to his best friend's apartment and asks what Buddy would do if he found out that it's not real. Then the security guard says that he wouldn't mind, because just being there talking to his best friend is enough for him. Buddy says that even if he is not for real, that moment they were experiencing, without a doubt, is real. Upon hearing this, Guy feels motivated again and asks his friend to help him break into the safe house. He wants to get the video and deliver it to Molotov Girl, since she failed to steal the file last time. They wait for a security guard to enter the room and Guy orders the man to hand over the file to him. Upon seeing the blue shirt in person, Revengeman reveals that he is a big fan and states that he can take whatever he wants. The player hands Guy the file and starts yelling at his mother, who is vacuuming his room while he plays. Startled by that sudden outburst, the 2 friends leave while the guy continues his bizarre antics. After taking the video, Guy goes to Molotov Girl's hiding place and hands the file to her. On the internet, people are more interested in following the blue shirt on YouTube than attending the game. As a result, pre-sales for Free City 2 are down 60%. Antoine is furious about this and orders Keys to take that guy out of the game. Then the boy informs that it is not possible to banish him, because the character is an NPC that has evolved and acquired consciousness. Upon hearing this, Mouser gives the idea to restart the server, so Guy will go back to being like any other NPC character. When the couple watches the video, Millie discovers that the original world she and Keys created is hidden somewhere within the game, and this proves that Antoine did, in fact, use their code without permission. Guy claims to have seen that landscape before, but when he goes to tell where he saw that place, Mouser manages to restart the server and all players are removed from Free City, leaving only their avatars behind. While walking through the streets, Blue Shirt sees the city disappearing before his eyes. Without any notice to users, the game goes offline, and when it restarts, Guy is again an NPC like any other. The man resumes his boring routine, with the same old clothes, the same coffee, and the same job. While walking through the streets with Buddy, Molotov Girl appears and asks where the place he saw on the video is. However, Guy cannot remember anything else he experienced with that girl and continues on his way to the bank. Millie gets frustrated and thinks about giving up her mission, but changes her mind when she receives a recording from Keys. The boy tells that he created Guy to never find the girl of his dreams, which was based on Millie, since she was his closest coworker. Only one day, Guy saw the young woman in Free City and was able to recognize her. This made him feel alive, and since then the character has never been the same. Because of Millie, Guy has come to life, and if this is true, she can make the NPC come to life again. Just then, the young woman goes back to the game and breaks into the bank to capture the blue shirt. Millie takes her hostage to an alley and asks him to put on his glasses. She tells him that in 24 hours that whole world will disappear, but Guy still remembers absolutely nothing. Seeing the police approaching, Millie blows up the vehicles and kisses Guy, causing him to regain all his lost memories. The character takes the girl to his apartment and shows her the mirrored image that appears on his blinds. Immediately, Millie realizes that Antoine has hidden the Life Itself universe on the horizon, but forgot to erase the reflection. If they manage to get there, they will have concrete evidence to incriminate the businessman. With Key's help, the couple devises a plan to cross the ocean without Antoine being able to send other characters to attack them. Guy then gathers all the townspeople on the beach and tries to convince them to abandon their role as extras and start taking charge of their lives. The blue shirt's speech inspires those people, who decide that from now on they will make their own choices and will no longer be controlled by anyone. That day, when a player breaks into the bank to carry out a robbery, he is surprised to find that there is no one inside. So do the delinquents who walk the streets looking for new victims, as all the NPCs are gathered in the coffee shop to celebrate. Now Missy has created a new menu and stopped making just medium coffee with milk and sugar. When he finds out what Guy and Millie are trying to do, Antoine orders Mouser to eliminate the characters and cancel the revival so they can never get back into the game. Following his boss's orders, the programmer begins to destroy the city in an attempt to get the couple eliminated. When the buildings were about to crush them, Keys turns the road into a ramp so they can escape. Antoine knows that the duo is heading to Matador's Beach and orders his team to release the new character that would only be used in Free City 2. Although their programming is not yet fully ready, the man believes that Dude is the only one capable of stopping them. Guy and Millie wait for Keys to create a bridge so they can cross the ocean, but Guy is stopped by security guards and taken to Antoine's office, where he discovers he will be fired. After arguing with his boss, the young man presses the button that builds the bridge. Mouser then appears in the room and informs the businessman about what has just happened. Furious, Antoine orders him to cancel all accounts and expel all players from the game. Just then, Millie's avatar begins to disappear, and Guy must follow on his own. While being escorted out of the tsunami building, Keys turns on the streaming of the game so that everyone can follow Guy's trajectory. So when the NPC arrives in the Life Itself universe, everyone will be able to see that Antoine has stolen the game codes. However, before Guy can continue his mission, Dude appears and attacks him. The mountain of muscle walks towards him when he is interrupted by Buddy, who has gone over to save his friend. Easily, Dude gets rid of the security guard and attacks his target. All the users become apprehensive and cheer the blue shirt on as they watch him take a beating. After knocking down his opponent, Dude activates the final blow and uses his giant fist to eliminate Guy once and for all. What the big guy didn't expect is that among the items Guy collected is Captain America's shield, which he uses to defend himself. At this point, even Chris Evans is surprised, and to top it off, Blue Shirt uses the Hulk's fist to throw Dude away. After recovering from the attacks with the first aid kit, Guy draws his lightsaber and attacks the enemy. When the battles seem to be won, Dude goes through a portal and tries to break Guy's ribs. At that moment, Buddy appears and throws the glasses to his friend. Instead of using them to attack his opponent, Guy puts the glasses on him and the Brute is distracted by seeing all those lights and floating objects. The two friends then cross the bridge and Antoine walks to the room where the servers are stored. Keys realizes what is about to happen and sends a message to Millie, who runs to Tsunami headquarters. With an axe, he destroys the servers and the entire Free City universe begins to disappear, including the characters. Guy crosses the bridge as he watches his best friend disintegrate. Despite knowing that his elimination will be irreversible, Buddy claims that it was the best day of his life. While Antoine destroys the last remaining servers, Guy moves forward and makes it through the barrier. He is amazed and thrilled to see that beautiful world. The only servers left are those that keep Guy and the inhabitants of Free City alive. Just as the businessman was about to destroy them, Millie shows up. The young woman asks Antoine to give her what is left of Free City, and in exchange, he can keep the code and all of the company's profits. For Antoine, money is all that matters. So he accepts the deal believing that he will do well, but the truth is that his company goes bankrupt after the scandal he has gotten himself into. The man was arrested for stealing the codes and Millie set up her own game, along with Keys and Mouser. Only this time, they put the Life Itself idea into practice and made a game where players just watch the characters living their lives instead of shooting them. The result was a big surprise, because within a few weeks Free City, which is now called Free Life, already has twice as many users. Encouraged by his friend, Keys invites Millie out for coffee to celebrate. However, the girl decides to go back to the game and asks her friend to bring her a medium coffee with milk and sugar when he returns. When Millie and Guy meet again, the girl tries to explain that she cannot live forever in that game with him. Contrary to what she imagined, the NPC supports her in her decision and affirms that he loves her. Guy knows that this feeling is the result of his programming and reminds the girl that for him to feel this way, someone had to write this programming. In that instant, a light goes on in Millie's head. The young woman realizes that Guy has always been a love letter to her and Keys as the author. When the girl realizes this, she runs to the coffee shop to meet him, and when they exchange glances, the boy immediately knows what has happened. So what